Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Banished, which originally aired live on Twitch. And here's a builder. Why are you still hauling wood? Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna have two builders. There's a builder hauling wood for the wooden bridge. And I just set up one more laborer as a builder. Wendell has become a student, so Wendell's probably very young. How old is Wendell? 10? Oh, and here is the latest stone house. This stone house now has a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. A little young to be living on their own. But, you know, I have no idea what... It's year 2, so give them a break, right? Some child labor laws are being violated. Alright. Down here, our next project will be the Herbalist. I think that's probably... Nope, that's not what the builders are working on. They're working on the bridge. But the wooden logs that I have is up to 101, which is good. That sprung back to what it should be. Hey, Velasco. I'm glad you like the RimWorld series on YouTube. And thanks for tuning into Twitch. I appreciate it. Cheers. Here's, of course, the mascot. Alright, I'm going to tell my guys to prioritize the Herbalist over the bridge. I want to get a little bit of medicine. Looks like my food is pretty good. My stored amount of food is about 1,000, which is a healthy amount. I'm also going to upgrade one of these wooden houses to stone so that my firewood requirements become more reasonable. So we need to fell 9 trees and then deliver resources here. Might be a little bit easier to do if I set up a stockpile. Just a temporary small one, but set up a stockpile here. Wow, the wooden bridge has already had 100% of its logs delivered. That's faster than I thought that it would have been. We just had 3 children born this spring. So Alfred. And here, as you can see, there is demand for additional housing. If I think I can supply the food needs. So I will queue up another stone house as well. And make it a priority. I'm going to pin these houses just so I can track their progress. Because we do have some homeless people now. And I don't want them to remain homeless. The Herbalist is about a third done. That's looking up. This bridge has almost all of the stone delivered. Oh yeah, there it goes. So now you can start to see the support columns for the bridge. And that means we'll get this forester up and running on the other side of the river. Do I not have... No, I have the farmers. Why did my farm just not... This west farm didn't have work? I don't know. Fortunately, I can offset that with a productive chestnut orchard this year. But yeah, for whatever reason, this farm stayed idle. I think maybe because the laborer that was, the farmer that was assigned to it just did laboring the whole time. So there's our wooden bridge. Lovely wooden bridge that connects to the north. And then I'm going to unlock the forester. Actually, I'm not going to do that, because I don't know which way it's facing. Alright, so a south-facing forester here. A pretty low priority to get that built immediately. But here's the stone... one of the new stone houses, so I can unpin it. And then here's the other one, not yet built. Let's hope I don't have food shortages as a result of this crop field going unplanted this year. And the herbalist is coming together. That's really good. That will probably help my average health of citizens go up. We are running out of clothing and tools, though, so I will be remedying that as soon as I get the herbalist up and the forester up. Wherever this forester is. I wish there was an easy way to see where you had queued it. There it is. Let me pin it, in fact. Should have been pinned the whole time. Alright, so here is the herbalist, and I'm going to employ one person in it. And they're going to collect medicine from this radius. And I have an herbal in it. Let's do 200. Come on. Build the stone house. So this stone house, I have the logs, I have the stone, I have the iron, but barely. So we should get that going. Speaking of not having a lot of iron, I'll collect this iron here. So this yielded 448. This, of course, yielded 0. And this orchard has not yet been harvested. The chestnuts are still growing. My woodcutter is reporting that 100% of the queued wood is set up, which is good. Means the woodcutter is going to work as a laborer instead. Yeah, if you overeducate really early, you will have a loss of child labor. I honestly think it's worth it, but that's up to you. But I would happily and heavily say, for me, I think it is worth it. pensive music. All right, let's finally get the blacksmith up and running. So I'm going to put a blacksmith here and a tailor here. And that will accommodate our clothing and tool needs. They are so much more productive once they are proper adults if they're educated, Siona says. Yes, I agree. You suffer on the front end with a lack of child labor. You benefit in the long run because they are so much more productive, and that is exactly why I like to educate real early. All right, laborer, what are you working on? My food looks okay. My firewood looks good. Iron's low, but I'm working on it. These gatherers gathered a pretty reasonable amount of stuff this season. Fewer roots, but just about the same amount of everything else. And the hunters had a pretty productive hunt this year as well. What's the building to the left of the bridge? This to the right or this to the left? This is a market, which I have paused because I'm not ready to pull the trigger on building it yet. And this here is a trade post. Also, I'm going to unpin it. Also paused because I don't need it yet. I'm going to work on supplying the resources that I need. So this stone house is almost built. And then once that's built, we'll work on the tailor and the blacksmith. I'm not too worried about the forester lodge because there's still wood nearby that I can cut down. Forester lodge is like late game replenishment of wood, so that you can't, you don't cut down everything and not have wood. Okay, 265 chestnuts. Not bad. Even though we had a farm field completely not plant this year, seems to be fine. Our food shortage, we have 1,000 stored food, so wasn't a big deal. Ever since we got the Herbalist up, my average health has gone up a little bit. I think it's probably related. I'd like to think it would be. All right, builders, what are you working on? You are... I have no idea. I'm going to get rid of the stockpile now that we have the Herbalist set up. And I am going to set priorities to these buildings here, because we're very low on tools, 7 spare, and clothing, 4 spare. But we have a ton of leather. We have a ton of stored leather, so it's, and we have an okay amount of iron and wood, so we have the materials to make tools. Now, one of the interesting things about this game is there's 2 types of tools. There are steel tools and iron tools. Basically, steel tools cost twice as much as iron tools and last twice as long, so they're actually not more efficient, strangely enough. The complexity of steel tools, however, is that you need to get coal for steel tools, but then sometimes your houses will be heated with coal, so I tend to avoid steel tools as a result of that. because if you use steel tools, you can be inefficiently using your coal as a means to heat housing instead of making tools. So it's easier just to make iron tools instead. A strange meta, but it's just the way it is. So I'm getting some additional housing so that young people that want to live apart from their parents can do so and start their own families. My workers are now building a path to the Forester Lodge. I kind of want them to... Oh no, the blacksmith is getting built. Okay, good. And we just had a lot of people age up to become laborers. So we have 3 more laborers than I previously had, and I'm employing one of them as a builder. And then the rest of the laborers here, I'm going to have them collect iron and stone. And some wood as well. Woodcutter's full. Let's raise that limit up to 700. And we're on year 4. Highly Forester's Lodge. So right now we are entirely out of iron, which is why the blacksmith stopped. As you can see, we've used all the iron that we have. So now it's up to my laborers to mine iron, or gather it, rather. It looks to me like these guys are working on the forester. So I'm going to actually pause the forester so that they work on something else. Because I want to get clothing and tools as we're nearing 0 here. Yay! Both farm fields got planted. That's real good. My herbalist has now raised the health of my citizens another half heart, which is also awesome. Someone is starting to gather iron now that I have 4 iron. Now, here's more meta information about this game. There is a finite amount of iron and stone that exists on your map tile. So when you have trades up, you should never sell anything. You should never sell iron or stone, and you shouldn't sell things that are made out of iron, like tools. Don't do it. Blacksmith now has 100% of the resources it needs, and next will be the Tailor. Reserve for food is low. I'm not worried about that because we are about to get yields from the farms. Now I am nearly monocropping. My gatherer helps to prevent the true monocropping. Same with the hunter. But I would like to start to buy some additional seeds once I have covered my needs, my immediate needs. Herbalist. Why you turn your back on the viewers, buddy? Alright, so now it's warning me that my tools are low, right as my blacksmith is getting built. Timing could not be better. We hit the wood limit of 700. Let's go up to... No, let's not go up. If I raise it anymore, we're not going to have wood left over to make tools, and that will be a problem in its own right. So All right. Blacksmith near done. These fields 448 and 448. And the chestnuts still being harvested. Now I'm completely out of stone. Set up a few gathering of stone close to the stockpiles. Hey, Decken. How you doing today? Come on, Blacksmith. 95. And done. Immediately employ one person in the blacksmith. And I'm going to select that they make iron tools because I have no coal. I'm probably never going to make steel tools, mind you. All right, next up will be the tailor. Make sure that that is high priority. Here's an interesting tool where you can see how people commute to work. As you can see, they take a desired diagonal path there. If we take a look down here, it's definitely going to cut across the wilderness. Which is funny, because I also see that people do walk the roads as well. But diagonal roads kind of suck in this game, so I often avoid them. So here's a guy with no tools. You are working as a farmer with no hoe. So there's two people with no tools. At the moment, I don't have tools due to a lack of lumber, of logs. So I'm gonna lay off of wood cutting. I'm gonna lower that down to like 600, so we don't start to cut wood anytime soon. And that will then allocate the logs for the blacksmith, because all the logs that we need for the tailor has already been dedicated to the tailor. So we'll get these tools in no time. And then I'm going to put a stockpile down right next to the crafters so that they can easily access wood that they need. Okay, I'm hearing trees being felled, so it's only a matter of time till our blacksmith starts cranking out the tools. Come on, blacksmith. Okay, I just saw them make at least one tool. I'm not worried yet. Ah, this is where the lumber's been going, to this stone house. That's why I haven't made tools yet. But I think all the lumber just got placed into this stone house that I need. So now it can go to the blacksmith instead. Yep, there we go. Blacksmith making tools. It's hammer time. So we have 4 people without tools, and that number should be decreasing now that we are manufacturing them. I hope. Looks like the blacksmith just made tools for themselves. Greedy, but smart. They'll be able to make tools faster. And then the tailor's nearly done. It's 94% done with one stored clothing left. Taking a look at my families here, we're definitely in need of some additional housing, or we're going to have a bit of a population collapse. So that's going to be my next focus. But at this point, I did indeed get a blacksmith. So we're going to mark that complete and set up a next goal. So let's write them down. So here are the 3 that I have. And there we go. Tailor, all set up. Now, there are 3 types of clothing. There's hide clothing, wool clothing, and leather and wool clothing. I only have leather right now, so I'm only going to make hide coats. If I had sheep, I'd be able to make wool or warm clothing, but that's not something I have right now. So the amount of people that don't have tools is decreasing. We're down from 4 to 2. And then we will quickly be making spare clothing here in the Tailor in no time. Two more people becoming students. Forester's Lodge. Gonna get on pause there. That will be next, and then it will be what you guys vote on. My reserve of logs is low. Yes, it is. All right, let's queue more trees to be cut. I don't want to cut too close to these facilities down here. So I don't want to cut south of this line, roughly. So I'll queue up everything north of that line. But nothing south of it, because that would lower my efficiency of herbalism and gathering. Don't want to do that. So convenient I post my polls in the order of popularity. Just a coincidence. Now I did mention that we're going to have a pop loss unless I get some additional stone housing, or additional housing period. Doesn't need to be stone, but I'm going to be building stone housing, so we'll queue that up. And it's constantly telling me that my logs are low, but I'm again not worried about that. What does late game look like? A very large bustling settlement, I would say. Okay, so we have 8 spare tools now and 1 spare clothing. 0, but that's because someone just put it on. So the blacksmith and the tailor is operational. And set up a trade post. Gonna be my next goal. Yeah. So let's I'm gonna set up the trade post after I set up a forester lodge. One of the things that is very good to sell is firewood. Firewood is a very easy thing for you to sell in mass amounts to trade for things you want. So making sure that we have a steady supply of logs is essential if firewood's going to be our trade good. The trade goods should be something renewable and easy to obtain. And, well, trees are renewable and they're easy to cut down, so fits the bill nicely. That's the meta. So up here where the forester is, I'm also going to want a stockpile for the wood of the forester. There we go. And I'm going to employ all the builders that I can build, that I can employ. Now we are at a loss of stones for this stone house. So I can work to source that. What is it warning me? Food and stone is low. Well, food being low is not a worry because it is early summer and we're just going to start harvesting soon. So food's fine. My tools 29 and clothing 14, that bounced back very, very quick. We obviously almost ran out and I rushed it, and now we're quite good on that front. There's a lot of cut trees. I'm expanding basically at the rate that I can acquire resources, which is actually pretty good. So one more log for this forestry, and we'll be all set. Hey, Morsinha. Welcome. Cheers. You miss them. What do you mean? You long for them, or you don't attend? The word has a bit of a double meaning. I wish I had Java, Raptor Town. I wish. The wife is out of town, so I don't get delivered drinks. So that means no midstream Java. Just water. Yeah, I'm a Hydra homie now. Is there a quarry? Yes. Let me show you. So there's a quarry that you can set up. Quarries have a finite amount of resources in them, though, just to note, it's not infinite. And the same is true of mines. You can set up mines as well, but again, a finite amount of resources will be in a mine. And also, depending on your RNG, they can be tricky to place, as you can see. On this whole mountain here, there's probably only 2 spots that are valid. This spot here that I selected earlier, and then this spot down here. Which means really, really, really late game Banished colonies will have to import their iron and their stone. Like, extraordinarily late game, mind you. But they're non-renewable, technically. That's why you saw Echo earlier? Yeah, because there's no mommy for her to hang out with. In fact, let's call her back in. Right here. Oh, sorry. Ha! Husky. Echo, up, Chile. For me, oh, I don't need a Keurig fund. I appreciate it. Oh, my forestry is done. So I'm going to employ as many foresters as I can. And what the foresters are going to do is they're going to cut down old trees, plant young ones, and get that all squared away. My iron looks a little low. My stone looks a little low. But we did build this extra stone house for 2 child-bearing. And Delis is one of the first. Delis and Salva were one of the first people born here. They age at a different ratio than the seasons and years. So it's year 5, but these guys are 20 years old. I know that is super confusing. It confused the heck out of me when I first started playing too. My school has 6 students. As you can see, this middle number up here denotes the amount of students that you have, so you don't even have to look at your school to be able to tell. And my blacksmith has maxed out on the amount of tools that I have queued up. Bits for coffee. I myself am a AeroPress man. It's just midstream, you know, I'm not going to get up and AeroPress myself some coffee. All right. So you all voted that I build a trade post. So let me get that unlocked. We can start delivering wood to it. We do have 195 logs, which is a very healthy amount. So I would say at this point, stone and iron is what we're really limited on. I'm gonna collect some stone and iron around my colonies. Hey, Glitch, thanks for gifting out a sub. Cheers. G Sultana, thanks for the follow, by the way. I'm sorry I didn't notice in real time. Whoa! All of the logs got delivered like that. The reason because all of the farmers here, and let's check their yields. 448, 448, and I guess we get about 380, 390 chestnuts a year. All of my farmers can do laboring jobs at off season. So iron is low, food is low, and stone is low. My food is low, but like, I'm gonna start new farms when I have a new seed. I don't want to keep growing beans. It might be good for my heart, but you know the saying. My Herbalist is just about done getting all the herbs that I need for the settlement. So once we hit 200 up here, I can actually just shut down the Herbalist until I hit a low threshold. Unpin the forester. And now the Tailor is maxed out too. So if you take a look at the Tailor here, they're probably doing labor jobs, yeah, picking up and delivering resources. And that's what these symbols look like. So there's really not harm in having the blacksmith or the tailor employed, even though we have all the tools and the clothing we need, because they're just going to help do resource gathering. Checking in on the Gatherer's Hut. Previous season's pretty good. Previous season's pretty good. Hubertus became a student. A child named Healy was born. And my food is low. Yeah, my food is low. Zanefe, thanks for the sub. Welcome. Do they have a fishing hut? They do. I was talking about fishing earlier in this stream. Fishing is one of the lowest efficiency food gathering that you can do. So if you can avoid, like, if you could do other things instead of fish, fish is probably the last building to use for food. Every other source of food is more efficient. So there's no penalties for using fishing. It's just not necessarily a great use of your workforce. You can build a trader around the river to get more seeds. You say.
What does it look like I'm doing?
Yeah, I have a trading post built right here. Or getting built right here. I do need a little bit more stone and iron. Trade posts, of course, are exorbitantly expensive compared to most of the other structures that have built, so that's why it's taking so long. The ASMR sass, yeah. Oh, posture check. So gathering is pretty efficient if you have old woods. The gathering and the hunting is very efficient. More efficient than fishing, for sure. And then one of the benefits, of course, of hunting is that you get the byproduct of leathers, which you make clothing out of. So, if given the choice between hunting and fishing, definitely go hunting. The only reason I would say you would want to go fishing is if you're in a very, very, very late game colony and you need the room. You need the real estate, the acreage, for other things other than hunting or gathering. But if physical area is not a constraint of your colony, just hunt and gather and farm. Farming is probably one of the most efficient methods of resource gathering. I would think. Again, not an expert, but the way I approach games is I often will min-max them, and yeah, that's what I've found to be true, and that's what all the guides will say too, more or less. So we just need iron for this trade post. So hopefully we'll get some iron out. You shall pet the Yoda. Oh, shall I? Oh, buddy. Oh, yes. Jedi mind trick worked? Oh, it indeed it did. Wow, I am out of stone and out of iron. Most of this is just because of my lack of laborers. Also because I have so many students. I have 9 students. For a colony of like, how many people do I even have? Well, I don't have a town hall for a census, but for a colony of 40, I have a quarter of my entire population getting educated right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, log limit. Let's increase that up to 500. Our foresters worked too good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to decrease the amount of foresters I employ. Because we are at our upper max of log limit, and then have the people that were foresters become laborers so that they can collect iron and stone. Because I don't think we're going to need, we're not going to need wood for a bit. Except for that's not entirely true. I'm going to have my fuel limit go up to 1,000. And we are 3 iron away from a trade post. How old is Yoda? Yoda is 9. 9 years old. 9 years young. All right, 1 more iron, and this trade post gets built. And then what I'll be looking to do is to buy seeds so that I can start farms of different resources. You know, of wheat or something like that. Wow, this home has been in queue for like a season now. We'll get there. Maybe. So here is, as soon as autumn rolls around and my farms stop yielding and harvesting, we are going to get a huge resource blitz because the farmers and whatever, I guess they're still called farmers, but the people that work in the orchard will help with resource gathering. God, look at all this game. Just want to shoot you. Or whatever, to eat you. Herbalist is done, so I'm actually going to shut down the herbalism and unemploy the person that was working in the herb shack so they can become a laborer as well. If I see my herbalism amount drop, I will employ another herbalist. It also looks like my food sucks right now. A little worried about my food amount because I don't have a lot stored. So the sooner I can get seeds, the better. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two additional crop fields and hire 2 more farmers so that next season I don't have a food deficit like I have now. Can you not build a hunting post? I have a hunting post already, so I don't really need another one. If you guys have suggestions for me, submit it in the channel points. So we're going to be soon down to just 2 options, which is build a graveyard and set up or, you know, work towards 100 pop. We do not have a fishing dock now. Will laborers build if they have no laborer tasks to complete? I don't believe so, no. All right, let's queue a next goal here, submitted from you all. So here is a trader. I'm gonna reduce it down to 1 person working here. We don't need that many. And I'm going to queue up 500 firewood to be stored in here for trade. At this point, what we need to do is we need to just wait for trade boats to arrive. I don't really control when they come. So they'll be here when they're here. We're definitely having a bit of a lean food going on, but we'll aim for that not to remain true soon. And we're going to set up a Chestnut Orchard here at 9x9. So we have 4 plots of beans and 2 of chestnuts. Come on, traders. I'm looking to see if their boats are coming in. So you'll actually be able to spot them. So I don't think I have any traders heading on in. What I could do with the excess stone that I have, Demtakis makes a good point, is to get higher quality roads to increase movement speed. Of course, they only really help if people use them. They're also expensive. It's 1 stone per road. But given the excess amount of resources I have right now, I'm okay spending it. So we'll have a large stone road project. We do have some households that are a little hungry. Making sure we're employing the correct amount of farmers. Do bridges obstruct boats? No, they don't. Oh, actually, so the trader will be coming from the west because of the direction of the river. So they'll pop in from here. All right, it looks like build a graveyard is going to be the project. Build a graveyard. All right. Let me think about the location. Location. So this is what, 15 trees? And this was 12? All right. Yeah, pessimistic people thinking they'll die soon. Although, you know, we do have 50-year-olds here, so it's a possibility. So graveyard locations. Graveyards are interesting. Graves turn over every 20 years, so you really only need a graveyard large enough to accommodate the amount of people that die in a given 20-year period, and you lay them out like a variability layout. Graveyards do boost colony happiness, correct. So I think what I'm going to do, because it's a variably large building, is have a seaside graveyard or cemetery here. There we go. We'll get that built. One person did just die of starvation. Actually, 2. Hermaine and Emella. But we're about to have huge bean yields from the farm, so I'm not super worried. I just let it get a little too lean, a little too fast. Too many people dying of starvation. All right, so let's cue a... Oh, they're already harvesting now. Yeah, you can also put a chapel near the graveyard. It's true. I didn't leave enough space, but I could put a chapel here or something like that, if that becomes a voted goal. For now, I think just the food scarcity is going to be important. But as you can see, people are getting fed now. So pretty soon here, we're not going to have the starvation diet that we've been on, which is good. Oh, I killed a student. Normally I'm better about keeping people fed. All right, so no one's hungry right now, and the houses are now getting supplied with food, so that's no problem. So Night Divinity, the problem with your goal here is I don't have any crops that can ferment into beer, so I could build a tavern, but it wouldn't do anything just yet. All right, there we go. There is a new poll for what happens after I'm done with the graveyard, the cemetery. And I'll try to stop killing people off. All right, I no longer have a hunger issue. It's saying food is low, but I should have enough stored. So as I said before, fishing is actually the lowest efficiency food acquisition that you can have. So if we have a lack of food, anything but fishing would be better. Literally anything. Gathering would be better, or hunting would be better, or farming would be better. Fishing is the lowest of the on the totem pole. So if we're having hunger issues, it would be best if I set up another gatherer or another hunter or something like that, because fishing is very slow compared to gathering, hunting, and farming. Just an FYI. So it is sort of a tiebreak here. So let me have a tiebreaker. We are also lacking stored stone. We have a lot of iron, but not a whole lot of stone. Variety does add happiness in the population. That much is true. We also just had 4 people born, which is good. So if you want me to stockpile more food, let me think about this. I am, because that's currently winning. So let's see. I will attempt to set up another gatherer's hut. Or, you know, I'm going to employ more gatherers. There we go. And more hunters. So let's set up a secondary hunting camp up here, right where our lumber or forester is. And we'll make that a priority. Put the same fields together, different crops. Yeah, my hope is that once I acquire new seeds, I'll separate crops out so that they're not close to one another. Thank you for watching Banished, which originally aired live on Twitch. This series is a result of a poll I put out every Monday, where my viewers get to decide what I play. So far, there's only been 1 stream of Banished, and therefore only 5 episodes. If I continue this series, it will be a result of it winning again in the polls. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.